So we were discussing about the sources of error, and the first was the errors which are from obvious situations or sources. Now the second is error resulting from natural variation or from original measurements. Natural variation or from original measurements. So although these error sources may not be as obvious like the previous ones, careful checking will reveal their influence on the project data. So we can have positional accuracy in this. So positional accuracy is a measurement of the variance of map features and the true position of the attribute, and it is dependent on the type of data being used or observed. So map makers are can accurately place well defined objects and features such as road, building, body lines, you know, discrete topographic units on maps and in digital systems, whereas less discrete boundaries such as vegetation may reflect the estimates of the cartographer only. So climate, biomes, relief, soil type, drainage, and other features, they like sharp boundaries in nature and are subject to interpretation only. So faulty or biased fieldwork, map digitizing error and conversion, and scanning errors can all result in inaccurate map for GIS projects. Then the accuracy of content. That means the maps must be correct and free from bias. That is the qualitative accuracy, which refers to the correct labeling and presence of specific features. For example, a pine forest may be incorrectly labeled as a spruce forest, thereby introducing error that may not be known or noticeable to the map or data user. And certain features may be omitted from the map or spatial database through oversight, or by design, or purposefully also. So, other errors in quantitative accuracy may occur when the faulty instrument calibration is used to measure specific features like altitude, soil, or water pH, or atmospheric gases. So mistakes made in the field or laboratory may be undetectable in the GIS project unless the user has some conflicting or corroborating information available. Before that, he will consider them to be correct only. So sources of variation in data also can can be one source of error. So variation in data may be due to measurement error introduced by faulty observation, biased observers, or by miscalibrated or inappropriate equipments. For example, one cannot expect sub-meter accuracy with handheld or non-differential GPS receiver. And likewise, an incorrectly calibrated dissolved oxygen meter will produce incorrect values of oxygen concentration in a stream. So there may also be natural variation in data being collected, a variation that may not be detected during the collection. As an example, salinity in Texas bays and estuaries varies during the year and is dependent upon, say, freshwater influx and evaporation. So, if one was not aware of this natural variation, incorrect assumptions and decisions could be made, and this significant error introduced into the GIS project because of this. So, in any case, if the error do not lead to unexpected result, the detection may be extremely difficult. Then, error arising through processing. So, processing errors are the most difficult to detect by GIS users. It must be specifically looked for and require knowledge of the information of the systems used to process it. So these subtle errors occurs in several ways, and they are therefore potentially more insidious, and particularly because they can occur in multiple sets of data being manipulated in a GIS project. So you can have numerical errors, like different computers may not have the same capability to perform the complex mathematical operations and may produce significantly different results for the same problem. Burrow cites an example in number squaring that produce a 1200% difference, and computer processing errors occur in a rounding off operation, and are subject to inherent limits of number manipulation by the processor. Another source of error may be from the faulty processor, such as recent mathematical problem which was identified in Intel Pentium chip. In certain calculations, the chip would yield a wrong answer. Okay, so the major challenge is the accurate conversion of existing to maps to digital form. Because computers must manipulate data in a digital format, numerical errors in producing can lead to inaccurate results. Of course, in any case, numerical processing errors are extremely difficult to detect and perhaps assume a sophistication not present in most GIS workers or project managers. So, errors in the topological analysis, what it means, the logical errors may cause incorrect manipulation of data in topological analysis. So, we must recognize the data is not uniform and is subject to variation. Overlaying multiple layers of maps can result in problems such as slivers, overshoot, and dangles. So variation in accuracy between different map layers may be obscured during processing, leading to the creation of virtual data, which may be difficult to detect from the real data. So all these are errors in topological analysis. Now coming to classification and generalization problem. For the human mind to comprehend vast amounts of data, it must be classified, and in some cases it may be generalized also to be understandable. So according to Burrow, about 7 divisions of data is ideal and may be retained in human short-term memory. So defining class interval is another problem area. Okay. So what happens here, for instance, you defining a cause of death in males between say 18 to 25 years would probably be significantly different in a class interval from 18 to 40 years. Say. And data is most accurately displayed and manipulated in small multiples. So defining a reasonable multiple and asking this question compared to what is very critical. So classification and generalization of attributes used in GIS are subject to interpolation error and may introduce irregularities in the data that is hard to detect. What about digitizing and geocoding errors? See, the processing errors occur during other phases of data manipulation also, such as your digitizing and geocoding, overlay, and say boundary intersections, and errors from rasterizing a vector map. So physiological errors of the operator by involuntary muscle contractions may result in spikes, switchbacks, and polygonal knots and loops. So error associated with the damaged source maps. Operator error while digitizing and bias can be checked by comparing original maps with the digitized versions. Other errors are more elusive. Then the problems of propagation and cascading. That means the discussion is focused on this point on errors that may be present in single sets of data. But what about GIS usually depends on the comparison of many sets of data. There is no one data. Comparison of data. So this schematic diagram, now we have a variety of discrete data sets that may have to be combined and compared to solve a resource analysis problem. So it is unlikely that the information contained in each layer is of equal accuracy and precision. So errors may also have been made compiling the information. So in this case, the solution of GIS problem may itself be inaccurate, imprecise, and erroneous. The point is that inaccuracy, imprecision, or the error may be compounded in GIS that employ many data sources. So there are two ways in which the compoundation may occur. First is your propagation, and then we'll see the cascading. In this propagation occurs when one error leads to another. For example, if a map registration point has been misdigitized in one coverage and is then used to register a second coverage, the second coverage will propagate the first mistake. So in this way, a single error may lead to others and spread until it corrupts data throughout the entire GIS project. And to avoid this problem, use the larger scale map to register your points. Often propagation occurs in an additive fashion when maps of different accuracy are collated. Then we come to the cascading. So cascading means that erroneous, imprecise, and inaccurate information will skew a GIS solution when information is combined selectively into new layers and coverages. In this sense, cascading occurs when errors are allowed to propagate unchecked from layer to layer repeatedly. So the effects of cascading can be very difficult to predict, and this may be additive or multiplicative and can vary depending on how information is combined, that is from situation to situation. Because cascading can have such unpredictable effects, it is important to test for its influence on a given GIS solution. So this is done by calibrating a GIS database using techniques such as sensitivity analysis. So we have sensitivity analysis, which allows the user to gauge how much errors will affect the solution. So calibration and sensitivity analysis, you can see this in managing error. It is also important to realize that the propagation and cascading may affect the horizontal, vertical, attribute, conceptual, and logical accuracy and precision. Just beware of false precision and false accuracy. What it means is GIS users are not always aware of the difficult problems caused by the error, accuracy, and imprecision. They often fall prey to false precision and false accuracy, that is, they report their findings to a level of precision or accuracy that is impossible to achieve with their source materials. So if locations on a GIS coverage are only measured within 100 feet of their true position, it makes no sense to report prediction location in a solution to a 1/10 of a foot. So that is just because computers can store numerical figures down many multiple places does not mean that all the decimal places may be significant. So it is important for GIS solutions to be reported honestly and only with the level of accuracy and precision they can support. This means in practice the GIS solutions are often best reported as ranges and ranking or presented with certain statistical confidence intervals. These issues are addressed, we'll see, in the managing error. The dangers of undocumented data. What about this? Given these issues, it is easy to understand the dangers of using undocumented data in a GIS project. Unless the user has a clear idea of the accuracy and precision of a dataset, mixing this data into a GIS can be very risky. Data that you have prepared carefully may be disrupted by mistakes someone else has made. And this brings up three other issues. Ask or look for when you borrow or purchase data. That means many major government and commercial data producers work to well-established standards of accuracy and precision that are available publicly in printed or digital form. These documents will tell you exactly how maps and datasets were compiled, and such reports should be studied carefully. Data quality reports are usually provided with the datasets obtained from the local or state government agency or from private suppliers. So prepare a data quality report for datasets you create. So your data will not be valuable to others unless you prepare a data quality report. You'll tell them what errors or quality problems are there, or how good it is to be used. So even if you do not plan to share your data with others, you should prepare a report just in case you use the data set again in the future, or some person of your organization wants to use it. So if you do not document the data set when you create it, you may end up wasting time later having to check it a second time. Use the data quality reports found above as models for documenting your data set. So in the absence of data quality report, just ask questions about undocumented data before you use it. What the age it is, what the age of the data is, where did it come from, in what medium was it originally produced, what is the aerial coverage of the data, to what map scale was the data digitized, what projection coordinate system and data were used in the maps, and what was the density of observations used for its compilation. How accurate was the positional and attribute features? Does the data seem logical and consistent? And do cartographic representations look clean? And is the data relevant to the project at hand? Or in what format the data is kept? And how was the data checked? Why was the data compiled on this? What are the three sources of error in GIS database? Obvious error, errors arising from natural variation or original measurement, and processing error. And what is the difference between precision and accuracy? First, let me go back to this question. So these are the three types of error suggested by Barrow. Obvious errors, error arising from natural variation and original measurement, and the processing error. What is the difference between precision and accuracy? Accuracy is how well information or data matches to the true value. Precision refers to the level of measurements. What is false precision? How can the result of GIS analysis be reported to avoid this pitfall? False precision is reporting GIS analysis or finding to a level of precision or accuracy impossible to achieve from the source materials. Let me tell you again. False precision is reporting GIS analysis or finding to a level of precision or accuracy impossible to achieve from the source materials. This is false precision. So GIS solutions are best reported as ranges or ranking or presented with the statistical confidence intervals. Why are mistakes caused by false scales so common when using automated mapping systems? See, due to the ease in which one may scale change, zoom in and zoom out, but the automated map is only as accurate as the source scale. How are accuracy and precision related to the scale of USGS map products? See, this USGS employ accuracy standard that require horizontal accuracy, as 90% of the all measurable points must be within 1/30th of an inch for a map at a scale of 1:20,000 or larger, and 1/20th of an inch for a map at scales smaller than 1/20,000. The different scale maps have different level of accuracy. For example, 1:1200 map is accurate to say 3.33 feet, whereas 1:24,000 is accurate up to 40 feet. What is meant by a pedigree for data, and why it is important to understand the quality of special databases? See, the data should be documented as the accuracy and precision in the report that tell you exactly how the map and data set were compiled. Unreliable, unknown, and poor quality data will produce uncertain or spurious GIS solutions. What is the difference between propagation of error and cascading of error? Propagation occurs when one error leads to another. Propagation is often additive in nature, as when maps of different accuracies are correlated. Cascading of error occurs when erroneous, imprecise, or inaccurate information is combined selectively into new layers and coverages, which is errors which are allowed to propagate unchecked from layer to layer. According to Barrow, the principle of GIS for land resource assessment, what are the four types of error arising from natural variation or original measurement that affect the quality of GIS dataset? It is positional accuracy, accuracy of content, measurement error, and natural variation in the data collected. List two sources of error that may be hidden from the GIS user, which is errors resulting from natural variation or original measurement or processing. So these are numerical errors, uncalibrated measuring improvements, errors in topological analysis, classification and generalization errors, original observations are faulty, and digitizing and geocoding errors. What is the difference between positional accuracy, conceptual accuracy, and attribute accuracy? Positional accuracy is dependent on the accuracy standards of a map. That is, what is the probable location defined by some parameters such as say 10 feet. Conceptual accuracy is based on how one classifies information into appropriate categories. Okay, classifies information into appropriate categories. Attribute information is the level of non-spatial data accuracy linked to location. It may also include the level of detail assigned to a location. List at least 5 problems that arise when a paper map are converted to digital maps. So digitizing errors, geocoding errors, physiological errors of operators, damaged source maps, rasterizing a vector map, propagation errors, and numerical processing. We have multiple choice questions also. When an error in a dataset leads to the commission of another error, this is called propagation. Which of the following statement about accuracy and precision are true? These are 4 options for you. The answer is 1, 3, and 4. That is, the conceptual accuracy means employing the correct database model to represent the real world feature or event. The measures of attribute accuracy vary depending upon the levels of measurement of the attribute, and Cohen's kappa is one measurement of positional accuracy. Which of the following statement is true? These are options for you. So the answer would be 1, 2, 4. That is, a precise measurement may be inaccurate, an accurate measurement may be imprecise, and high accuracy and high precisions are both expensive to acquire. The degree to which information on a map or in a digital database matches true or accepted values is referred to as what? The answer is accuracy, of course. The term precision refers to. These are the options for you. We say the level of measurement and exactness of description in the GIS database is precise. Precision. Example of non-obvious sources of data. The answer is numerical errors. These are not so obvious. Propagation occurs when? The answer is one error leads to another. One error leads to another. GIS solutions are best reported as ranges or rankings and with statistical confidence intervals. Modern GIS and CAD packages allow easy changes to map scales, enlarging a small scale map. The answer is it does not increase its accuracy or level of detail. Then many agencies now provide data quality reports for GIS data. So a data quality report, the answer is it provides information on how maps and data sets were compiled. So these were the discussion and questions also on the GIS accuracy, precision. So I hope you got a bit idea about all these. Thank you so much. Take care.